stand, it's Sharif, Bryan, Sharp, Purdom, O'Callaghan, Hill and Rinaldi. Ward, Randall, Haggerty, Warrensey, Clubb and Paul. The Harlequins subs are Heckenberg, McCarthy, Scarsbrook, Gratian and Tootill. Coach is Brian McDermott. And the Saints, Wellens, Gardner, Gidley, Tallow and Melly, Price and Long. Forwards, Graham, Cunningham, Hargreaves, Wilkins, Sculthorpe, Roby. And on the bench for Saints, Clough, Farcivalou, Eastmond and Thompson. Coach, Daniel Anderson. Man in the middle is Ben Thaler. He's just about ready, so are the players. Can St Helens make it to the top of the table? We shall see in the next 80 minutes. Wellens' kick is into the chest of Julian Rinaldi, and here comes Danny Ward. It's a massive ask for this young Harlequin side, Steve-O.
Certainly is, but the St Helens, they'll be really fired up for this one. That I think it's 32 points. They've got to beat the Harlequin side today to make sure they go to the tabletop. But what a great break!
Fantastic break from Warrensey. And the support was there, but it flicked off the hands. And St Helens, well, they escape. It's a knock-on, but what a start for Harlequins. Very reminiscent of 3 weeks ago when we were here and saw them destroy Leeds.
Beautiful run, and obviously Brian McDermott, the Quins coach, has said the one man that we run at all night is the little halfback, Sean Long. He positions himself out there on the defensive line on that right-hand side, and you could see that the big second row of Warrensey targeted him, went right the way through him.
Well, we're in the first minute. We've got injury news from Harlequins already, Bill.
Well, Eddie, it's the news that Chris Melling not involved this evening because of the injury that he picked up in training, or rather aggravated in training. Just talking to him a short time ago, he's had rotten luck with injuries throughout his career, really, and this one is taking some getting used to. The muscle apparently has come away from the bone, and it's a painful injury. It's a long-term injury as well.
Sounds an horrific injury. This is Kieran Cunningham. This now is Long, and he finds Sculthorpe. Great ball round the corner to Wilkin. On the bounce, it finds its way to Melly. Melly is tackled, though, by Lamont Bryan. Last tackle here for the Saints, and Long will dab the ball over the top into open space, but far too deep, and Long's kick runs dead. Harlequins with a restart on the 20-metre line.
Little doubt that the little halfback there was trying to hit the post. Wasn't far off it either. It's a ploy that they've done for several seasons now. But boy, St Helens, they had a bit of a wake-up call, didn't they, when Warrensey just glided through that defensive line.
The Saints here making their first of 2 visits to the Stoop before the end of the current season. Daniel Anderson watching on from the main stand here. They've won 9 Super League matches in a row, 12 in all competitions since losing at Castleford on April the 6th. Odds on to make it 13 in all competitions here tonight and into double figures in the Super League. But favourites have come unstuck at this ground in the past because of the form of men like Randall, but his kick over the top was read by Paul Wellens perfectly.
Super position there by Wellens. You could see that he had the eyes on the kicker. Anticipated it was going to be a chip over the top, just positioned himself superbly. Good chase though, good tackle from Scott Hill.
This is James Graham for St Helens, for England last week in Toulouse, and Hargreaves will drive the ball forward for St Helens.
It'll be interesting to see how Scott Hill and Julian Rinaldi, of course, the Frenchman, normally plays in the hooking role. He's taken up to the halfback today. Will the combination click?
This is Paul Sculthorpe now. He started the last 4. This is his best run in over a year in the first team. That's a deep and high kick, and it bounces very kindly for St Helens, but Ricky Sharif deals with it. But then he is collared by 4, and he'll be forced back over the line. That's wonderful defence from St Helens.
Got there very quickly, did Roby. They're up for this. As I say, they must have poked them in the eye with the fact that Warrensey made that break. Oh, it's tremendous stuff. Help there by the centre-back Gidley.
You know, last night Leeds had some players backing up a week after an international match and weren't able to be at their best. I thought here, this would be the question for Saints players. Gardner and Robbie are involved in this tackle here. Just 2 of 7 players again now. Can they get up to perform at that high level? I know it was a comfortable win in France, but I think mentally it would have taken players a little bit out of the players who played because of the intensity of which they demanded of themselves.
Indeed so, and people say after a couple of games in quick succession as 6 of the 7 St Helens players had. And Hargreaves here is asking the referee for a decision in his favour, but it doesn't come. It's a simple knock-on, according to Ben Thaler. The point I was going to make is that a lot of people think that it's the week after the big weekend where they play 2 in 48 hours. The week after, the players who took part in that might struggle. That's the theory, anyway.
Well, it seemed to appear for Leeds last night. Maybe that was some form of excuse, but we'll have to wait and see whether this game involves the English players to that extent.
Good tackling on club by Willie Talau. That's Randall, and here is Ward again.
Interesting to see that Rinaldi is going to be the first receiver, is he? Yes, he is.
Rinaldi gives it to Scott Hill. Good ball back on the inside to Gareth Haggerty.
Oh, it was on.
It was. Again, they go without the ball with something beckoning them up the other end of the field.
They've got to take their chances, and they know it. Back on the inside, it was good move, but he should have got it there. Rinaldi would have been clear. There was only James Graham anywhere near him.
It is interesting play there, and there is opportunities. Obviously, to win this game, you've got to go out and win it if you're Harlequins. But put the 2 points together you've been speaking about. The St Helens players are backing up. If they are a bit tired, what you do want to do is ask them some mental questions. In other words, play field position, complete your sets, kick down deep and see how they are feeling. At the moment, with the errors Quins are coming up, with a short kick from Randall, 2 errors in passing down this end, Saints have got all the field position. They're looking forward in the game, and that's why these holes are opening up.
And that was a wonderful run from Price. He finds Long, and Long just for a moment. The pass behind was cut out by Warrancy, so he takes the tackle. It's the 4th. They're deep in Harlequins territory here. Price to Sculthorpe. Back it comes to Wellens. Wellens has got Talau and Nelly. That could be a knock-on forward, and it is. It's ruled as a forward pass because it came off the fingertips of Talau into the arms of Melly. But a chance spurned by St Helens.
Well, Wellens had 2 to go for. And he went right behind the centre, Willie Talau. Just got a fingertip to it. He's going forward, no doubt about it. 2-on-1. Beautiful work from Price. And Sean Long didn't take the gamble. As Eddie mentioned, the second row, Michael Warrancy got in the way. Well, chances are plenty, none taken.
St Helens starting this match with Sean Long at half-back as overwhelming favourites. It's a knock-on here against them. But they should be cautious because the Harlequins have got 5 wins from 8 here, and they're only 4 points off 6th place.
Well, the referee has deemed that the hooker Kieran Cunningham got fingertips of that, so it'll be head and feed for the Quins.
Their coach Brian McDermott certainly hasn't given up all hope of taking part in the playoffs, although 1 or 2 good judges think otherwise. It's Harlequins here.
You're referring to me, obviously.
No, that's guilty conscience, Tony.
Well, I just think you run out of games. After this game, we're 20 rounds, there's 7 games to go. If they're 3 wins out of the playoffs, now they've got to win 4 games more than someone else. That's pretty hard to do.
Fair comment. But whisper it quietly near Mr. McDermott.
He had a go at me in the league, so he didn't whisper.
8 minutes gone, 0-0 here, but there could have been points at both ends of the field, and Scott Hill will drill that ball towards the touchline. He did that with monotonous regularity against Leeds here 3 weeks ago. He is certainly the schemer in this team.
And he's got to be really up for it. You know, sometimes the problem with Scott Hill, 1 week he's really on top form and then he can have a shocker. But that'll lift the confidence. He's got to take control out there. Doesn't have the, shall we say, the comfort zone of Danny Orr on the inside of him. As we mentioned before, Julian Rinaldi. Can he give him the service? As we saw earlier in the piece, Tony, in regards to Rinaldi taking first receiver using Scott Hill out wide.
Yeah, it's when you have injury runs like that, it's sometimes the thing that gets you through is good combinations inside of that, and particularly for Harlequins, as they were coming up with some results. We saw them away to Warrington, here at the Stoop against Leeds. What they did have is continuity in the key positions, and you're referring to Orr and Hill together. Tonight's a different challenge. Now they've got a different halfback there, so it's important that they do link well, as you point out.
Yeah, the Quins are having to blood an exciting crop of youngsters this year. They have had this awful run of injuries. The boys have been talking here, they're lacking 8 tonight. but there are only, well, if you include Henry Paul, there are 4 overseas players in their ranks tonight, and Julian Rinaldi, of course, is from France, so that must be something of a club record for the London Broncos stroke Harlequins club over the past 20-odd years.
Listen, they've had a tremendous season, okay, you know, they are sort of odds on that they will miss out on the playoffs, but most pundits had the Harlequins finishing at the bottom, fighting it out for the wooden spoon with Castleford. They've come up with some good wins, both sides.
Cunningham at dummy half, Long inside the 40-metre zone, pumps it down beyond Lamont Bryan, but Ricky Sharif is there to pick it up for Harlequins. Playing full-back tonight for the first time for Harlequins. Did play there during his loan spell with Doncaster. And talking of Doncaster, of course, we will have the Northern Rail Cup final tomorrow, Sunday 2:30 on Sky Sports 3. It's Doncaster against the Salford City Reds.
Bit of a problem there. You see Ricky Sharif, when he got tackled, he was furious with his teammates. He'd run right across 30 metres crabwise, and he was looking for some support. He gave them a right mouthful and said, hey, come on, fellas, I need help.
Warren-C this time, no chance to make the break. Gidley and Roby in there quickly. It's the last tackle here, still inside their own half. And Scott Hill puts the kick in. All the Harlequin players you see in the frame there, they are well in front of the kicker, so they have to give Francis Melly 10 metres. I don't know whether they did, but anyway, Ben Thaler thought that that was the case.
I think the mere fact the official Ben Thaler thought to him, well, at least Harlequins did back off.
Here's Hargreaves now.
Looked a touch high there from Danny Ward.
Long showed it to Graham, gave it to Leon Price. Price's second involvement and gets the ball away again to Sean Long. Good ball inside to Wilkin, good defence needed from Purdon. It's Long, it's Sculthorpe, pace here from St Helens, try for St Helens from Willie Tallau. Leon Price has been involved in 2 moves so far tonight, and they've both caused danger for Harlequins. The first one resulted in Sean Long not being able to get the final pass away. This one has resulted in the try for Willie Tallau. 2 tries last week against Huddersfield, a hat-trick against London as they were 28-all at Nosey Road in June 05. Look at Price.
Beautiful dummy step back on the inside, and you can't ask for any more than you have the halfback Sean Long back on, and they just run out of numbers. There's no way they're going to stop Tallau. Had the opportunity a few moments before. Just simple, basic, run onto the football. He's got the power as this fella. And that's the advantage when you look through this St Helens outfit. They are big. The upper body strength throughout the squad is superb. He's got them fine-tuned as Daniel Anderson, that is for sure. Bit of an awkward kick for Sean Long. But you just got the feeling that every time Saints had the ball, they were making the break, they were making ground.
Long then, 70 goals so far this season. 150 tries now for St Helens. And he has missed with that particular kick. So it's 4-0 to Saints here at the Twickenham Stoop.
He'd be happy with Daniel Anderson, but I must say, the Quins, they allowed them to run. Look at that blind side there. There's no one there. Rinaldi was the only one that's coming anywhere near. Bang. You've got to get up into the faces. You can't hang back. Not with the power and the strength of the St Helens squad.
And all that most people remember about that last try was perhaps the pass from Sculthorpe to Tallau or the break by Leon Price. But what about the pressure that some of the Saints players put on Scott Hill on the far side of the field? It meant that he couldn't get an effective kick in. Wellens then carried the ball and Melly carried the ball. They're up and over the halfway line. They're on the front foot. Kick returns is one of their strong points, but it very often comes because of the selfless act of putting pressure on their opponent kicker, making it far easier for the back 3 to bring the ball.
St Helens in possession, but with 1 or 2 problems, Bill.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem to be causing them any difficulty, though. Paul Sculthorpe, we saw a while ago getting treated. He dislocated a finger on his right hand, in actual fact. They put it back, strapped it up. In actual fact, it was his pass that put Willie Tallau in, so it's not inconveniencing him too much.
Long with a kick early in the tackle count, picked up by young Jamie O'Callaghan.
Well, not surprisingly, the youngster will be put under a lot of pressure. He's been around too long as Daniel Anderson to realise it's a golden opportunity to test the quality and the nerves of the youngster. They think a lot about him down here, though, in London.
They do. He's only 17.
Yeah,
he made his debut last week, but he's a loose forward or a front row forward normally. But operating tonight on the wing, because Chris Melling was injured in training, Ricky Sharif had to drop back into full-back, and O'Callaghan was brought in by Brian McDermott.
Well, evidently he's really performed well in the academy.
Scott Hill again with the kick downfield. This time Paul Wellens has positioned himself perfectly.
Well, on that occasion it was Wilkin and Cunningham, wasn't it, who immediately, as soon as the ball's played, set off to get to the right foot of Scott Hill. Makes the life of Paul Wellens and his two wingers far easier, and they're able to catch it on the full, and then again they roll forward.
Francis Melly was dumped somewhat unceremoniously into the ground then by Purdom. The legs came up, but the referee Ben Thaler saw nothing wrong with that. That's Hargreaves underneath that three-man tackle. Cunningham finds Sculthorpe, goes to Price. Oh, and Price with an outrageous dummy. There's more points on offer here. Roby, and Roby will go over under the sticks. Easy try, and again Leon Price injects himself into the play, and again St Helens capitalise. Bang under the sticks. James Roby, his 130th appearance here for St Helens tonight, and he won't score an easier try than that all season, and put it down to the break made by Leon Price, who I must say is having an absolutely wonderful month or so of form.
Well, I think he's had a sensational season right the way throughout, and he's the type of player that thrives on confidence. We saw against the French side, he was in total charge there, through the dummy, very poor defence. But you have to position yourself, and hookers normally do this. When it blends out on the left-hand side, look at the dummy there. Oh, and not only did he sell it, they bought it. Trickle of blood coming down from the right eye of Roby. You can see they've slapped on some Vaseline to try to stem the flow, but that was sheer quality from Price.
And Long from bang in front doesn't miss those. The second highest point scorer in St Helens history, Sean Long. Only Kel Toslett has scored more. And James Roby's try improved by Long. It's 10-0 to St Helens, and it's looking a little ominous for Harlequins.
Super try. You've got to back up well.
Well, Leon Price touched the ball 3 times and has caused havoc for Harlequins.
Yeah, you know, if England want to win the World Cup at the end of this year, they need a world-class back. Australia may have players like Folau, Inglis, Gaznia, but Leon Price is perhaps our greatest and most dangerous player in the back line, both individually and for the players around him. He's really learnt and improved this season. The wind's brought that one back. Oh, it's bounced for Saints.
No, it hasn't. It's bounced for Harlequins. That held in the wing. I think that's Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook who is on. It is, and he will play the ball here. And this is a glorious opportunity for Harlequins. This is Ward. St Helens on their own line and defending here as Henry Paul tries to squirm his way over. That's 3 tackles gone. Randall the dummy half. Back it comes to Scott Hill. A dab to the in-goal area. Wellens is there, and Wellens tidies up, and that is a goal line dropout.
Well, Wellens is claiming that he allowed it to go over the dead goal line before he even touched it. He took a gamble, but look how he shepherds it. Well, that's going to be interesting.
He's right, the referee. First call. Paul Wellens does appeal for there's the kick-off. We bounced eventually McCarthy-Scarsbrook. He makes an impact when he comes on the field. Perhaps a raised elbow, maybe, in the...
Without a doubt.
Yes, Hargreaves would agree with that.
It's very rare, though, you find Paul Wellens hesitating. Okay, he was caught out by the swirling wind, and from the strength of it, you'd have to say that Saints will have to utilise the wind to their advantage in the first 40, and of course it will turn around. The Quins will have that in the second stanza.
This is Randall. Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook was the runner. That's Rinaldi. This is Ricky Sharif. Ahead of him is Leon Price. Didn't fancy taking on Price either left or right. Went back and retreated, and Price got to him. This now is Daniel Heckenberg. Cunningham in with the first challenge, helped out by Wilkin. Last tackle here for Harlequins. Just 11 metres away from the line. Rinaldi Another kick in behind the defensive line, collected this time by Wellens, who goes to ground, and no danger on that occasion of Wellens conceding anything else other than the tackle.
Pretty crafty as well from the fullback. You could see that the loose forward Henry Paul was hunting him, and he just dropped very quickly indeed. No chance to be carried back in the in-goal area.
Paul Wellens, try against France in Toulouse. That was the 50th, rather 150th try of his outstanding career. Here's Mari Farsavalou now. He nearly took, well, he did take Julian Rinaldi off his feet, and Rinaldi rolled forward about 5 or 6 metres. The kick downfield is from Wilkin, but straight into the arms of Ricky Sharif, who will begin the counter-attack.
Well, that backs up Phil's point of a moment ago. Look, Harlequins are in the half on one tackle. Great kick pressure from Rob Third, and doing all those tough little things we were talking to St Helens are doing inside of the game.
O'Callaghan, 17 years of age, plays the ball there to Sharp. This now is Lamont Bryan. 4th in a row for 20-year-old Lamont Bryan on the wing. Some exciting youngsters coming through here in London, and according to Coach Brian McDermott, about 3 or 4 other 15, 16-year-olds that he is really, really excited about. Scott Hill, oh, the pass was in front of Sharif, and in the end it's collected by Will Sharp. He had a fantastic match, didn't he, Will Sharp, here 3 weeks ago. 2 tries against the Rhinos. Up goes the kick from Scott Hill. It's too deep, that, though, although again the wind holds it up. Wellens collected it bravely, and he got clattered for his pains by Henry Paul.
Very brave, though, wasn't he? That's the second time that Wellens has been caught out by this swirling wind.
Farsavalou.
It's amazing, you know, the first run from Farsavalou, this is a take from the full back, and Henry Paul didn't half clatter him. You just get the impression every time Farsavalou gets the ball, when he came on, it was as if he was indignant he didn't get through the first line of defence.
Wellens
gave himself away nearly there as a shepherd. There's a big fella.
Long kick over the top on the 4th tackle. He was looking, I think, for a 40-20, but the ball had other ideas. Ricky Sharif picks it up behind his own try line. Leon Price is leading the chase and gets to the fullback with help from Roby. Good defence from St Helens. Nowhere then for Lamont Bryan to go.
You look at the coach to try to improve a player's performance year in as it just rolls over. And Daniel Anderson must be very, very happy with the fact that he's created something more out of Leon Price. You know, in the past, he sometimes went to sleep in a game. We just saw there, he loves to have the ball in his hand, but we just saw him get that. He was the first from the kick and chase. Eager for work.
Steve, I think the way he's done that is through defence. When you're coaching against Leon Price in the years gone by, you knew he was a bit of a weakness there. He's not that anymore. He's certainly not to that level. He's got a workload. But you know, and in fact, I'd say that about the whole of the St Helens squad. I think Daniel Anderson's been an incredibly good job for this whole competition. That he's really asked questions and made the St Helens side stand up defensively, and everybody else has risen to the task around him. He's been an outstanding coach inside of the league.
He has. He's on course for 3 successive Challenge Cup finals, 3 grand finals in a row. They're certainly on the cards, and also to top the table for all 4 seasons that he has been in charge, Daniel Anderson. Another break from Leon Price. This time it was watched all the way by Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook. Roby gets it away to Wilkin. That was an important grab at the ankle by Henry Paul. He stopped St Helens there. That's a slack pass, though. Oh, and it's picked up off the deck from Clough, and here is Randall, and he finds Scott Hill. Oh, the youngster O'Callaghan.
Well, that shows you the inexperience that can happen. There's no advantage. It was a knock-on, so Ben Thaler will bring them back.
The thing with these errors in open play, and there's been 3 of them now, maybe 4, is they're unforced. You know, they're just skill errors, and you know, the Quins. If we look at this pass, when Hill goes to there, when he goes to that pass, it was just a totally unforced area. That's the disappointing part of it.
Well, when you've just received the football, you're negative tackle as well. And you know, Eddie, you talk about Daniel Anderson. The most amazing thing, you look at his record, his CV is absolutely tremendous. He's going back to Australia, doesn't have a job.
No, he doesn't. But he is committed to return.
that's been his choice. I'm sure he'd get a job out here, you know, no
without
question
a doubt.
about that. And it's a thin market in Australia.
Do you think, I mean, with all due respect, Tony, do you think that's a sign of disrespect in the NRL for what we're doing here in the Super League in the Northern Hemisphere?
No, not at all. I think 4 jobs have come up in Australia and 3 of them have been promoted from within. And then Wayne Bennett went down to St George, so there just wasn't an opening in the market. I'm sure if there was, say a club wasn't sure of the people they had underneath them, then Daniel would have got the job. I think he's just got to be patient. His record will get him somewhere. He deserves it.
Long finds Paul Sculthorpe. This is a bonus for St Helens that Sculthorpe is back out there, as I say, his best run in the first team now for 12 months. Leon Price again.
Gone for the power play.
Finds Gardner on the bounce. Gardner slides it in behind the defence. Gardner backing himself, but Ricky Sharif just waited. Took the ball.
That's good play by the Sharif. Not only put himself in a good position, it was a nice step. Get him an extra 3 or 4 metres forward, but because the Harlequins realise their ability in attack nearly always seems to come about when they're only about 15, 20 metres away from the opposition try line.
This is Tony Clubb.
If Harlequins want to get into this game, Chad Randall's got to run. He's just distributing at the moment. When they play well, he engages the ruck. He gets that team over the advantage line and opens up opportunities. This sort of stuff is what will get Harlequins going.
The pass to Clubb is halted by the challenge of Price and Talau. It's Scott Hill again. Another kick that again hangs in the breeze, and Gardner judged it to perfection.
Well, we've seen throughout this season that St Helens, they are past masters of bringing the ball back, and they inevitably get over the halfway line.
I must say, the one thing that I like about Leon Price, apart from the form that he is showing in the Super League this year, is that he has complete and utter disrespect for Australia. What was it he said in 2006? He prefers Blackpool to Bondi.
I think it was very much tongue-in-cheek, Eduardo.
Well, it got him headlines over there, and he was arguably the villain of the piece for the Tri-Nations. Fantastic that he got them all upset.
You'll probably see him at the Northern Rail Cup final tomorrow then, Eddie.
Yeah, absolutely, he'll be on the big one.
Never mind that, it's the headlines, what he does out in the field of play that we want to see.
Look at that
at the end of this season.
Oh, Talau's pass inside is found by Rinaldi. Rinaldi flicks it into nothing. Long hacks it forward. There's a chance here for Roby, is there? No, it's grounded in goal by the Harlequins defender, that is Will Sharp.
Good job that Sharp got there, but what about the little kick on from Sean Long? Rinaldi positioned himself extremely well. He knew that Wilkin was pushing him towards the touchline, and rather than try to get for the football, kicked it through.
No, you've not got it back.
They're eager.
Well, they know that they are, 22 points winning margin away now at 10-0 from a place at the summit of the Super League. They'll claim pole position if they win here by 32 points or more. And that's a statement of intent.
Oh, of course. I mean, there was a rumour going round before the game kicked off that actually the St Helens team in their hotel last night were actually cheering for Wigan.
I can't believe that. Maybe their supporters did, tongue-in-cheek. That's the truth, is it, Steve-O? You can verify that?
Yeah.
Well, that shows you, doesn't it? That shows you that St Helens mean business today. Oh, Roby! Great feet, and an important little ankle tap by Henry Paul, but not stopped. It's long, and on the bounce to Melly. Tries to get away from Lamont Bryant, and does. Great strength from Melly. Lamont Bryant sticking to his guns. Wilkin, here's Graham, and Graham is halted right at the foot of the post. Roby to Long, here's Price, here's Leon Price. Fantastic skill. Great footwork, and a wonderful Leon Price try. Bamboozled that Harlequins defence, all ends up. Well, what's that? 5 or 6 touches and 3 tries.
Tremendous play. The confidence running through this man's body. Boy, I'd love to have 50% of it. He's unstoppable. And the Harlequins realise it as well. Brian McDermott has to come up with something or someone to stop him. Oh, sheer quality. Wonderful. It is so wonderful to watch.
I think any team with Leon Price in at the moment have an unfair advantage over their opponents. Harlequins have done pretty well here for half an hour. In fact, some of the Saints' goal forwards was contained. He has simply been the difference between the two sides. He's almost untackleable, and even when you stop him, he'll either get away and offload, or it's a quick play of the ball, which is just such an invitation to Roby and his teammates that they go on the back of that.
Do you think that in the past month or so he has suddenly come into the reckoning as Man of Steel?
I don't know about end-of-season awards, Eddie, but what I do know is that it's coincided with a great maturity, I think, both on and off the field for Leon Price. He's found a coach at the right part of his career who's backed him. He's avoided injury. They've had consistency of selection around him, and he's able then to inspire the teammates by getting early ball. That show, look, he's got such fantastic feet. He can change direction without losing speed, and that's a rare skill.
He's in sensational form, Leon Price, there's no doubt about that. He needs just 3 tries now for 150 tries in his career. He made his St Helens debut here in February 2006, and he's averaging a try every other game for them since.
And not only that, Eddie, he's picked up the Landstodd Trophy, the Harry Sunderland Trophy for winning in the grand final. The only one he has not got is the Man of Steel, but the way he's playing, he's got to be up there, surely.
Offside now against Harlequins. Yeah, I was just talking to Phil about that, Steve-O. Do you think he's just suddenly hit the front in the race for the big award at the end of the season?
You'd have to say over the last 5 or 6 weeks, the way that he's injected himself into this game, it shows you that he's eager, he wants it, and that man, Brian McDermott, realises he's got to come up with someone to stop him.
We've seen a record here today, I think. First penalty of the match, 28.5 minutes. Well done, Ben Thaler. Leon Price again. Another brilliant offload. And there's the second penalty. They're like buses, they've come twice in quick succession.
They shouldn't compliment Ben Thaler, they should compliment St Helens. They've conceded the least and been awarded the most this year. One of the legacies, I think, from Daniel Anderson's time at St Helens is the discipline, and I mean technical discipline as well. Not interfering in the play of the ball, not trying to steal the ball, and they're rewarded here now with more and more possession.
And Sculthorpe is dumped on his backside, but only on the second tackle and about 3 metres away from the posts. Roby finds Long, and Long will spin his way to the line, but he will be pulled back by the defenders. That's good defence there from Ricky Sharif and company, and Michael Warrensey. Roby, Leon Price, Wellens, and Wellens takes on Scott Hill, and Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook flicks the ball up into the arms of Sculthorpe. Sculthorpe then to Paul Clough, and Clough's trying to bash his way to the line, and he does. Paul Clough with the try on his 50th St Helens appearance. Paul Clough. I'm afraid it's all one-way traffic for Daniel Anderson's men at the moment. It's men against boys, literally. And Paul Clough, a sub in the grand final, a try-scoring substitute at Wembley last year, firmly established now in the St Helens lineup, and it's a 20-0 advantage that Saints have.
And fully deserved. The quality of any side is the ability to keep the ball alive in tough situations. And look how they pop it up. It's still moving. Sculthorpe was trying to organise the play of the ball. Just popped up in front. And this is second effort stuff, isn't it? Ah, that's wonderful. Always be aware. Any youngster watching this, you've got to make sure that if it comes up, and that's what the fullback did, step, twist, power. They're in a hole, the London outfit.
Paul Clough with the try, and this is the angle that Sean Long has for the conversion. About 15 metres out in terms of goal line to where the point of the ball is, but on the angle slightly less than that. And Long has kicked the extras. They lead here by 22 points to 0. They are 10 points away from the top of the table.
And they'll fully realise that as well. But as you can see, when you get 2 men into it, the defence, they think that this momentum has stopped. It hasn't. He flips it out, and they're always going to get himself into a lot of trouble. 2 men on the ground. They had the numbers, should have stopped him.
The reason they didn't was and as a result of being physically beaten here, is they're chesting up. They're getting themselves too upright in the tackle, not getting themselves nice and low and hitting with their shoulders. The Saints will just chew that up. They'll just get in under you and power your way out of the way. The real concern for Quins, if you look at the team across there, the only real rookies are on the wings, O'Callaghan and Bryan, but they're not getting beaten through there. The worry is that the Saints are coming straight through the middle of them. Price and these Roby, played the ball before the try, just made a simple break right through the middle. That's where the Quins are getting beaten, and that is not forgivable in any system.
It's a remarkable scoreline when you consider in the first attack of this match, Warrancy cut through St Helens like a knife through butter, and had they been a little more accurate with the passing,
they could have had points on the board. We just saw a quick glance there of Daniel Anderson, the St Helens boss, and he was applauding. And the fact that he was applauding was the Murray Fasavalu, who's known for just
what a chip over the top
through. Oh, sensational.
Just wouldn't come up. It wouldn't come up for...
Sharif's knocked on, play on.
Wouldn't come up for long, but there's two knock-ons here. The first one and this second one.
Sharif got a hand to it. I think this will be head and feed to St Helens. I don't think Price gets a fingertip to it. No, he doesn't. He gets knocked out of the way.
It's Leon Price who knocks it back, isn't it, with his left hand?
Yeah, but that's play on if it goes back.
Yeah, so that's okay.
Oh,
This is play on. There's the knock-on from Thompson.
Maybe.
I thought there was a knock-on earlier from that.
From
this
Sharif.
fellow, yes.
So did
Referee has seen it the other way. He has given Harlequins head and feed.
And it'll be some sort of relief as well, because they need to regroup. Let's see it again.
No, it's off his knees, to be fair. There's the knock-on by Thompson. Spot on, Ben Thaler.
Now they've got a regroup of the Quins, trying to get some hard work from the forwards. Their biggest problem is they can't get to the halfway line. And when it comes to the last, they've got to make sure that they get a good kick, and it hasn't been one. That's better. That's quick thinking from Randall. They need it.
Yes, Tony Ray was calling for that, wasn't he? A bit more running from dummy half from Randall. Here is Scott Hill. And St Helens know the danger that Scott Hill poses to their ambition. He also is enjoying his best run of injury-free form. Talking about Paul Sculthorpe earlier, same can be said for Scott Hill. And that was
offside. Well, surely it came from an offside position.
Looked like it.
It ricocheted off Wellens. Well, they're looking to get away with that.
I could hear the referee yell out from here. It went behind him, so he obviously thought it bounced backwards.
Surely it comes from an offside position. Rinaldi puts the chip through. Ooh, very, very close. I reckon they were very lucky. The red and whites. Not that they'll be complaining. The scoreline of 22-0.
Harlequins will. That should have been a penalty to them.
Yep.
Halfway line, St Helens on the last. Up goes the kick from Long. Wind is behind that. Wellens is chasing it. So too is Sharif. He pouches it safely.
Ooh, Sculthorpe, just a lazy arm across to the fullback's face. Wasn't too impressed as well. Had a little go at Scully then. You know, it surprised me. We talk about this young 17-year-old, James O'Callaghan. There's the facial. And they haven't tested him with the high bomb. Amazing.
22-0, if they really needed to, Steve-O. Henry Paul.
You try everything on a game of rugby league, Eddie.
It's a good point on the tactics. You know, do you go for the opposition's weakness or play to your strengths? And Saints just seem to, well, forget about that the bloke's weak out there. We'll play to our strengths. They're not going to tip us off out of game, and it's doing the results for them. I think it's why they play out through the season well. They know themselves rather than react to what the opposition are doing.
Kick downfield again from Hill is easily fielded by Leon Price.
And just to qualify that, I think if it wasn't working as the game went through, then you would start getting the ball out to Gidley against O'Callaghan and seeing if he could break him down and those sorts of confrontations. But they haven't needed to go to that because their own systems are working well for them.
4.5 minutes to half-time. Here's Murray Fasavalu again. Try-scoring substitute Murray Fasavalu in each of his last 5 games. Sculthorpe, meanwhile, carries the battle forward towards halfway. That's a good defence from Harlequins.
Chip over, perhaps, rather than a long kick.
No, it's a kick between Lamont Bryan and Sharif. It's too long. think he'll settle for that, though, with a 20-metre restart and a chance for St Helens to get the defence set.
Well, they're a little bit down at the moment of the Quins, and they realise if it goes dead in goal, even if it was done deliberately, they know that this St Helens side can get their one line of defence, which has been pretty impressive. Only once in one set of 6 have the Quins been able to get over the halfway line to take control when the kick comes.
Oh, Heckenberg is tackled by Wilkin, but he has the strength to keep on going and get Harlequins over halfway on tackle number 4. Draws applause from the Quins supporters. It's Scott Hill again. He goes wide and finds Sharp.
Beautiful pass, wasn't it? Missed out 2 of his own players.
It's Scott Hill again. Slides the kick in, an angled kick. Ooh, a nasty bounce for Leon Price, but he was there to get it. He ran straight into Willie Talau, and the Harlequins fans asking for an obstruction decision from Ben Thaler.
Just, I think, stops himself. Yeah, just takes a step back. But a push forward, perhaps the official might have given the penalty.
Ben Thaler plays the ball to Roby. Roby finds Sam Thompson in centre field, and Thompson trying to squirm his way out of the tackle. Roby again.
Oh, superb play.
That's the last tackle here. The match at the moment being played in the middle third of the field, as Long chips it behind Lamont Bryan and finds the touchline. Knows that time is running out in this first half.
He's a player that enjoys situations like this, and his partner in crime, Leon Price, does as well. He'll be quite happy, I would imagine. 22-0, it's probably beyond the expectations that he would have expected.
Well, the current run of victories for Saints began with a 58-12 home win against Quins in April. They scored 10 tries that particular night, including a Leon Price hat-trick. Here's Ricky Sharif. Gets the ball away to Scott Hill, who in turn finds Will Sharp. Little hole has appeared in the St Helens defence briefly. Sculthorpe cuts it down. But well, that could have been a penalty either way, because the referee said play the ball, and
he carried on.
He carried on, and then St Helens tackled him after the tackle count was complete. Never mind.
He's got plenty to think about, hasn't he, Brian McDermott? He knows they've just been outgunned.
He has, and he must be wondering how he can halt this with the resources at his disposal. Randall.
The biggest problem, Eddie, for Harlequins at the moment, they don't have the powerhouse up front in the forwards. They're finding it very difficult to get through.
Haggerty flicks the pass up. Heckenberg, Rinaldi. Hope here for Harlequins in this last minute with Henry Paul. That's the last tackle. Chad Randall waits, and Randall off the outside of the boot, and just dumped into touch was Lamont Bryan by the shoulder charge of Francis Melly. Well, they're trying, Harlequins. They're trying to find the key.
And that's all they're left with, actually, because it's been difficult to get through. Did well, didn't he, Melly? Made sure that he took the ball first. Wasn't going to give away the penalty. Was on the last, it was a turnover. Don't be shocked if St Helens tries something different here.
Oh, Wellens has cut them open up the middle. Roby's arriving in support. He's away from Sharif. No, he's not. Last tackle of the first half here. Clough, and Clough is going to be pushed into touch by Randall. Well, it looked for a moment as though St Helens were going to hit them with the sucker punch right on the bell.